Welcome to qnawire.
Hello students, in this question it's being said that two pure lines of plants are crossed, one with yellow petals and one with red. The F1 are all orange. So F1, all of the F1 generation in orange petals. Now when this F1 is self to give the F2, we find the following result in which orange are 182, red are 61, and yellow are 77. Now the question also says that you consult an expert who says that these results could be explained in two competing hypotheses. One is incomplete dominance and another is recessive epistasis. Now the question asked is describe how incomplete dominance could explain these results and describe how recessive epistasis could explain these results. Which of these hypotheses fit the data best? And we have to use the chi-square test to find which hypothesis fits the data best. So the incomplete dominance would explain these results if the orange color in F1 generation is a result of blending of red and yellow colors. In this case, the orange color would be heterozygous condition. So if we represent red petals with R and yellow petals with R, then the orange will have the genotype which is RR, which is a blend of yellow and red color. So when this F1 is self, we get that F2 generation in which the expected ratio for incomplete dominance would be 1:2:1 for red, orange, and yellow color. Now coming to the second part of the question, which is recessive epistasis. The recessive epistasis would explain these results if there are two genes involved in determining the color of petal, with one gene masking the expression of the other gene. So let's assume that gene A is responsible for production of pigment and gene B is responsible for the color of pigment, which is red or yellow. So in this case, the dominant allele would be necessary for pigment production, while the recessive allele A would result in no pigment, giving rise to yellow color, while the dominant allele B would result in red pigment, while the recessive allele B would result in orange pigment. The F2 generation in this case would be expected to have 9:3:4 ratio, which will be orange, red, and yellow. Now let's find the expected proportion of all the individuals according to incomplete dominance. So red will be 1 upon 4, as you know that the total number of the plants here is 320, 1 upon 4, 320. And orange will be 2 upon 4 of 320. And yellow will be 1 upon 4 of 320. So the red ones will be 80, orange ones will be 160, and yellow will be 80. So likewise for the recessive epistasis 9:3:4 for orange, red, and yellow. So orange will be 9 upon 16 times 320. So in this case, the orange ones will be 180, red ones will be 60, and yellow ones will be 80. Now, in order to compare the chi-square test, we know that chi-square is given by summation of observer square of observer minus expected upon expected. So, chi-square for incomplete dominance here will be 7.6375, and the chi-square for recessive epistasis will be 0.15, and the chi-square value, observer chi-square value for the confidence level of 0.05 and degree of freedom of 2, because we have three different items, red, orange, and yellow. Degree of freedom is 3 minus 2 minus 1, which is 2, which is gives us 5.991. So as we know that the chi-square value for incomplete dominance is more than the critical chi-square value, which is 5.5, we can reject this hypothesis incomplete dominance, while the chi-square for recessive epistasis is much lower than the critical value. So this explanation or recessive epistasis best explains this data. Also, the observed number of different plants, which is orange is 182, red 61, and yellow 77, which almost corresponds to the concept of recessive epistasis, in which we get orange 180, which is close to the observed one, red 60 close to observed one, and yellow 80 close to observed one. As in case of incomplete dominance, these values deviate too much from the observed values. So from that point of view as well, we can reject the incomplete dominance, and the data best fits the recessive epistasis. I hope you found the video useful. Thank you.